Did you know that people are 22 times more likely to remember a story than a set of facts alone? That's right. Stories stick with us far better than dry data. In fact, the human brain is wired to respond to stories because they engage our emotions and imagination. Imagine having the power to captivate your audience, keep them hooked, and make your message unforgettable. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? Welcome to Storytelling for Impact: 6 Ways to Enhance Your Speeches. In this series, we're diving into the secrets of great storytelling and how it can transform your speeches. You'll discover how to tap into emotions, use surprise effectively, and paint vivid pictures with your words. These aren't just tips, they're game changers that can elevate your speaking skills from good to unforgettable. Ever wondered why some speakers leave you inspired while others make you yawn? The difference often lies in their ability to craft compelling stories. We'll explore the art of creating emotional anchors, the thrill of surprising your audience, and the magic of visual storytelling. Get ready to learn techniques that can turn your speeches into powerful experiences. Stick around to find out how to make every word count and turn your next speech into a memorable journey. Let's get started and unlock the power of storytelling. Chapter 1. Unlocking Emotional Anchors, Tapping into Your Audience's Heart. To become a truly impactful speaker, you must tap into your audience's emotions. Emotional storytelling is not just about sharing feelings, it's about connecting deeply with your listeners. When you use emotional anchors in your stories, you give your audience something to hold on to. A study by Wharton School found that emotionally charged stories are 22 times more likely to be remembered than facts alone. This means that if you want your message to stick, you need to make your audience feel something. To do this, start by identifying the core emotions you want to evoke. Whether it's joy, fear, anger, or surprise, these emotions should align with your message. For example, if you're speaking about overcoming obstacles, share a personal story of a time you faced a challenge. Make sure it's relatable. Your audience needs to see themselves in your story. But don't just tell them how you felt. Show them. Describe the physical sensations, the thoughts racing through your mind, and the environment around you. Let them walk in your shoes. This creates empathy, which is a powerful tool in communication. People are more likely to agree with you if they feel connected to your experiences. Also, vary the emotional intensity throughout your speech. Just like in a good movie, you need peaks and valleys. Too much emotion can overwhelm, but the right balance can make your message resonate long after the speech is over. As Maya Angelou famously said, "People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel." Chapter 2. The Power of the Unexpected, Mastering the Art of Surprise. One of the most effective ways to keep your audience engaged is by incorporating elements of surprise. Predictability can kill interest. When your audience knows what's coming next, they mentally check out. A study by Harvard Business School suggests that surprise triggers dopamine release in the brain, making your message more enjoyable and memorable. To master the art of surprise, start with a hook that catches your audience off guard. It could be an unusual fact, a provocative question, or a story that seems unrelated at first. This creates curiosity, and curiosity is the gateway to engagement. For example, if you're giving a speech about innovation, you might start with, "Did you know that the first iPhone was almost a complete failure?" Next, use twists in your storytelling. Build up to a moment where the audience thinks they know what will happen, and then flip the script. This could be as simple as revealing a different outcome to a story or introducing an unexpected character. Twists make your audience rethink their assumptions, which keeps them actively engaged in your message. However, surprise should be used strategically. Too much of it, and your speech might feel chaotic. Instead, sprinkle surprises throughout your speech, creating moments of heightened attention. Think of it as adding spices to a dish, just enough to enhance the flavor without overpowering the main ingredients. Another technique is to break patterns. If your speech has a rhythm, interrupt it. Pause unexpectedly or shift your tone dramatically. This catches your audience off guard and pulls their attention back to you. Remember, your goal is to keep your audience on their toes, ensuring they stay engaged from start to finish. Chapter 3. Visual Voyages, Painting Pictures with Words. Visual storytelling is about creating vivid images in the minds of your audience. When people can see what you're saying, they are more likely to remember it. According to research by John Medina, author of Brain Rules, vision is our most dominant sense. We process images 60,000 times faster than text. This means that if you want your speech to be memorable, you need to speak in images. Start by using descriptive language. Instead of saying, "It was a beautiful day," describe the day. Say, The sun was shining brightly, casting golden rays across the lush green park. These details help your audience visualize the scene, making your story more immersive. Metaphors and similes are also powerful tools in visual storytelling. They help translate complex ideas into simple, relatable images. For instance, instead of saying, "He was very angry," you could say, "He was a volcano on the verge of eruption." This not only conveys emotion but also creates a mental picture that's hard to forget. You can also use contrast to make your visuals more striking. Highlight the differences between two scenes, characters, or moments in your story. This could be as simple as describing a bustling city street and then a quiet, peaceful countryside. The contrast enhances the impact of each image, making your story more dynamic. Finally, use the power of 3. Our brains are wired to recognize patterns, and 3 is a number that feels complete. When you describe something, give 3 details. The room was cold, dark, and silent. This technique adds rhythm and memorability to your speech. Before we move on to the next chapter, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss the next tips on becoming a great speaker. Chapter 4. Rhythm and Flow, Crafting a Narrative That Moves. To keep your audience hooked, your speech needs to have rhythm and flow. A well-paced narrative can guide your listeners through your message without losing their interest. Rhythm in speaking is like the beat in music. It keeps everything moving smoothly. If your speech is too slow, your audience might tune out. Too fast, and they can get overwhelmed. The key is finding that sweet spot where your words flow naturally. Start by structuring your speech in a way that builds momentum. Begin with a strong introduction, then gradually build up to your main points, and finally, deliver a powerful conclusion. This structure helps create a natural rhythm that's easy for your audience to follow. According to The Art of Public Speaking by Dale Carnegie, pacing your speech with a steady rhythm keeps your audience engaged and ensures that your key points are delivered with impact. Use pauses strategically. Pauses are like breaths in a conversation. They give your audience time to digest what you've said. After making a significant point, pause for a moment to let it sink in. This also creates anticipation for what you'll say next. A well-timed pause can be as powerful as the words themselves. As Mark Twain once said, "The right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause." Varying your sentence length can also enhance the rhythm of your speech. Short sentences are punchy and can drive a point home quickly. Longer sentences, on the other hand, allow you to elaborate and provide detail. Mixing the two keeps your audience engaged and prevents your speech from becoming monotonous. Lastly, use repetition to reinforce key points. Repeating important ideas or phrases helps embed them in your audience's memory. But be careful not to overdo it. Repetition should feel natural, not forced. The goal is to emphasize your main message without sounding redundant. Remember, a good rhythm in your speech will guide your audience from beginning to end, making your message more compelling. Chapter 5. Character-Driven Stories, Making Your Audience the Hero. A powerful way to connect with your audience is by making them the hero of your story. When people see themselves in your narrative, they become more invested in what you have to say. This approach shifts the focus from you, the speaker, to your audience, making your message more relatable and impactful. Start by understanding your audience's needs, challenges, and desires. What are they struggling with? What do they aspire to achieve? When you tailor your story to address these aspects, you make your audience feel seen and understood. According to Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, the most effective communication happens when you position your audience as the hero and yourself as the guide. Use anecdotes that mirror your audience's experiences. For example, if you're speaking to entrepreneurs, share a story about overcoming a business challenge. But instead of making yourself the protagonist, frame the story in a way that your audience can easily see themselves in your shoes. This makes your message more personal and relevant to them. Another strategy is to ask rhetorical questions that encourage your audience to put themselves in the story. Questions like, "Have you ever faced a challenge that seemed impossible to overcome?" Immediately engage your listeners and invite them to reflect on their own experiences. This helps create a bond between you and your audience, making them more receptive to your message. Finally, give your audience a clear path forward. After identifying with the hero's journey, they should feel inspired to take action. Provide them with practical steps they can take to achieve their goals, just as the hero in your story did. This empowers your audience and reinforces the idea that they are capable of overcoming obstacles and achieving success. Chapter 6. Authenticity and Vulnerability, the ultimate storytelling superpowers. In today's world, authenticity and vulnerability are more valuable than ever. Audiences crave real, honest communication. When you share your true self, flaws and all, you create a deeper connection with your listeners. Authenticity isn't just about being honest. It's about being real in a way that resonates with others. Start by sharing personal stories that reveal something about you. These stories don't have to be dramatic or earth-shattering. They just need to be true. Brené Brown, in her book Daring Greatly, emphasizes that vulnerability is the birthplace of connection. When you open up about your struggles, fears, or failures, your audience can relate to you on a human level. It's important to be selective about the stories you share. Choose ones that align with your message and illustrate the point you're trying to make. Your vulnerability should serve the story, not distract from it. For example, if you're speaking about resilience, share a time when you faced a significant setback and how you overcame it. This not only makes your message more powerful, but also shows your audience that it's okay to struggle. Being authentic also means staying true to your voice. Don't try to imitate other speakers or force a style that doesn't fit you. Speak in a way that feels natural to you, whether that's formal, casual, humorous, or serious. Your audience will appreciate your genuineness and be more likely to trust what you're saying. Finally, remember that vulnerability is a two-way street. While it's important to be open, it's also crucial to respect your audience's boundaries. Know when to push and when to pull back. Authenticity is about balance, being open without oversharing and being real without overwhelming your audience. Before you go, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more tips to enhance your speaking skills. Your journey to becoming a great speaker continues, and I'm here to help you every step of the way.